We're on.
Holding this family. I hope everybody's weekend has been as prosperous as mine. And I know it have because we're all in the pursuit of the same objective, same idea. And with that, we're all on the same page. Not maybe word for word, but on the same page.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's again my honor and respect, you know, to share with you the things that continue to be revealed by the ancestors. Again, Eitai thought out for the introduction. Um, what we're going to do, um, we're going to bring out something that I think is very significant. We finally wants to end up where we had used the 32nd chapter, verse 30 and 31, of Deuteronomy. And in using uh, that particular reference, I just want to go back and kind of put something in perspective that possibly was not as clear as I would have liked it have been. Um, so we're going to go back to that point, and then we're going to go forward from there. Okay. And one of the things that I want us to look at here uh, in this particular verse, verse 30 of Deuteronomy 32, it talks about one chasing 1,000. But the interesting thing about the one, the very first two words, the word how should. And I looked at this word how should. In the English, we would look at the word should is a future situation. Okay. But again, this language that Eitai, so eloquently continue to point out to us about words. This word is like a function word. It's like an auxiliary, you know, term. And auxiliary, you know, having an obligatory function. Okay, and you're obligated to do certain things. When you look at this word should, it says how should is used in the auxiliary as an obligatory function to express conditions that has occurred, you know. Now, and then it says obligation means a binding law within the realm of consciousness. So this is a very significant point here because this is the present condition of where humanity is, where they find themselves. It says, how should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock? Now, this word rock is is a very interesting term here because um, rock don't mean, as I said, it means to confine, okay? To confine, to hold within a location, to keep within limits, okay? To keep within limits. Now, then it goes on to say, because their rock has sold them. Well, when you look at the word soul, it means, again, to be sold into slavery. And that means submission to a dominating influence. Now, at this point right here, we're talking about submitting to a dominating influence. What is the influence? We know now what the influence is. We know the influence has been dualism. We know that. you know. Now, this influence you know, is so powerful because we know, because we have not been able to shake this what conceptualization of the language that would free us to get out of a condition that, as we use the word obligatory function, we desire to get out. And we've done everything. We done prayed, we done sang, we done laid in, walked in, you did it all. Went to army, war, but we still haven't got out of this predicament. That's how influential it is. Now follow me. So the Lord has shut them up. Well, the word shut here is 5642, and it means to conceal. Okay? Figuratively, to demolish, to destroy. Then the primitive root, 5461, sathar, is to hide, to keep secret. So now what enemy is hid and kept secret? If you're talking about this is literal, well, how is the enemy that you say is doing something to you, whether it be your wife, your children, or whether it be any in your opinion, how is he hid from you? So you already know something here is wrong in terms of how we've been interpreting the writings. This is very, very, very instructive and very key here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna verify what we're showing, that each time you look at this from a historical point of reference, this is where the error starts. This is the beginning of the error. You cannot look at it from a historical point. You got to view this from a allegorical point of view in order to what? Follow the ancestors and how they've laid this out magnificently, through language. So as we continue on, it says, when we go to the English and we say to shut up is to surrender to the power, control, or possessions of another upon compulsion or demand. Well, we mentioned yesterday about compulsory education. This was the programming, It caused us to follow the language, and I'm saying language now, I mean that both ways. I mean it, the physical language, you understand, in terms of the English or the Hebrew, the Greek, or Latin, whatever you want to talk about, but also the commitment to a belief internally about what you were programmed to believe was the truth.
Nasik,
anytime. Talk to me.
The energetic pattern or template.
Go ahead.
Energetic pattern or template that was put forth. Most people are under the influence of that energy.
Go ahead.
Yes, I was just saying the energetic pattern or template that has influenced everyone.
Yeah, absolutely, no question.
Influence everyone. That is this particular language. It is an
Right,
energetic pattern and an energetic frequency and a paradigm that everyone is locked into.
And that's what everybody is following. They think they're following something external, right? So we look at the word compulsion. The adjective 1581, it means mandatory. It means to enforce. It means to be coercive.
That's right.
Coercive and compelling. So you're following an energetic, you understand, commitment that you are completely convinced that is correct, because but you don't understand the programming now. We don't understand the programming. Continue on.
Now, see one quick point to really lock in this term compulsion is coercion. This is part and parcel of our history, and it goes on to say application of force, not power, force to someone, overwhelming his preferences, overwhelming his preferences. So that's absolutely true. That's part of our history.
Yes,
It's
right.
self-evident. Very good.
So we must remember this is not a proper, a people or civilization that we are talking about here. Because if you think it's a people or civilization,
Right.
this is where the problem going to start. And we can see now this is how we've been taught. So as a result of us being taught this way, we can see how we have erred. Continuing on, it is the influence. This is the energetic element Eitai was talking about. It is the influence of the simulated false mind matrix of reality caused by isolation, division, separation, and the outdated worldview of dualism.
Right.
It's outdated. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you want to hold on, it's just outdated. I'm sorry. Don't get mad with me. Get mad with yourself if you want to continue to follow and stay in the predicament. You know, you blame me for teaching something that's not correct.
You you so on it, Abba. Can you say what false mind matrix of?
Reality.
All measures of reality.
Oh, okay. I didn't trust myself. I thought that's what I heard. All right, Toda.
Okay. Now, we're going to go now back to looking at, now, this is the false mind matrix reality that we're under the influence of. So when you go back now and ask yourself about how should one chase 1,000 and how two would put 10,000 to flight, except the rock, has confined and has sold them. Now, again, this here have to be understood that this is not Israel, like the children of Israel that's been sold. All of humanity is under this influence.
That's correct.
Okay.
All of humanity. You see, but we didn't been made to feel, this is the children of Israel, and they were sold into slavery. See,
Right.
but now we know slavery had to do with, and again, very controversial brother, Dan Calloway, as he keep laying out this concept of slavery,
Right.
it's not like people have believed, but everybody, black people, his own tone color, skin color, comrades, what I'm saying? They own him about what? They say he off.
Right.
He's wrong, but he's not correct. He's correct. But
Okay.
they are not another frequency, and therefore they cannot pick up what he's trying to tell them. So, and we look back now, so we see now what done really happened, as I said yesterday, is that instead of you chasing somebody's chasing you now. This is what done happened. So now, as you continue to fall further and further into this devolution, into the matrix, you continue to what? Lose consciousness. You lose consciousness. And in the laws of consciousness, it was saying now, one individual, one religion, I'm going to get you to use that one religion, one social condition will what? Chase you, you understand, forever, trying to catch up with it.
Right.
That's one. Now, and you don't let two of them get at you. Now let's look at poverty, you understand, and being black. Let's just take those two, poverty, state of poverty and being black, and tell me, have those two elements chased us everywhere we have gone?
Absolutely.
So we can understand, we got to see this language. We truly got to see. So, what's chasing us, we ain't chasing nobody. They're chasing us. Then it goes on to say, and all of this is because what? It's been concealed and hid, what I'm saying? And the slavery that you are in is you're enslaved to what? Deception. You're enslaved to what? Dualism. All these are things, religion, all of these things in the physical mind matrix, simulated reality, is what's taking place. So I wanted to just explain that so that now, as we come out of that, we're going to come to a New Testament scripture, and it has to be able to, fall within the same context.
Correct.
So, okay. So as we look at what is called the pondering and meditation over this concept of the Adamic creed, Adamic creed, and what I stated, I said, as we meditate and ponder the Adamic creed and the concept of the creative process from our ancient ancestral divinity, which is our wholeness, singularity in the unity and divinity of consciousness. Then we go on to say there never existed such a thing as internal separation, division, and disunity or opposition until the devolution, descent, and fall into physicality of the simulated false mind matrix of reality. Okay? Now, the concept of the creed. Now, this is where you really, I want you to listen carefully, because you're not going to believe what you're going to hear today until you hear it, and then you're going to confirm it by virtue of the experience that you're living at this very hour as we speak. The word concept creed. We're going to go through the etymology, Middle English creedi, from Old English creda, the credo. First word of the apostles and the Nicene Creed. From credere, to believe. Trust, to entrust. Old Irish creatim, I believe. Sanskrit, and how you pronounce it, Ita? Sarad Dohati? Sarad Dohati.
That's good enough.
He believes. This concept here is the 12th century. Now, listen to this. The 12th century, the concept of creed, it's a brief, authoritative formula. Write this word formula down. A brief, authoritative formula of religious belief. A set of fundamental beliefs. Also a guiding principle. Eitai, hold on a minute.
Okay.
Before we go in. Nobody got no comments?
Nasik.
Yes, sir.
Did you say that? I thought I heard you correctly, that the women's built the church.
Yes, I did.
And after building it, then they didn't want them to have any running or say so. They didn't want them to be in the pulpit to deal with it. Like,
absolutely not.
Yeah.
See, you gave what the of that church was. We're getting some feedback.
Nazar, you got to close your mic.
Yeah, I'm closing my mic. Slicker.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, see, the female was used as the weapon or a tool, not a weapon, but as a tool, you understand, to bring the man there, to get the support from the male, because the male, he didn't necessarily went to church like that. He was home doing all the things wrong, and the female, the wife, was at odds with him, so she could not get him to you understand, treat her right. So she ended up going to church where she would find her, relationship with God. And the God, she didn't know the God was the pastor, He was the representative, that took the place of Jesus, So the pastor was always compassionate, you know what I'm saying, to the sisters and whatever. So it kept them there working, making sure that this idea was passed on. This is what this has been about. I mean, it's been a masterful plan. A masterful plan.
Now, see,
Okay.
Go ahead, Eitai.
we talked about this traverse wave uh, and how it orientates itself
Right,
from
right,
from up and down to side, vertically integrated,
right.
horizontally integrated. Now, we got to understand this, family, because this is what Nasik is organizing this within this framework to show you how this energy works. So we will put the reflection of up and down or vertical is a hierarchy, is it not?
Absolutely.
Okay. Absolutely.
Where you got
Absolutely.
where you
Yeah.
got this external God. I don't care what you call it. You got this external God on the top. Call him Yahuwah, call him Jehovah, call him the Most High, call him Allah, whatever you call him. If there is a structure that is vertically integrated under that, this is the formula. This is the formula.
No, that's absolutely right. I had that in my notes someplace, but it got away from me.
That's what I'm saying. I know you're within the framework.
Yeah.
This is the formula, and this is how we become influenced. We become
Yeah.
workers. We become workers, slavish workers, slave-like workers,
Right.
with no understanding. With no understanding. It's just like, well, why are you doing that? Because he said do it. And who is he? Well, he's above me, apparently. And then you work it all the way up to some God that you don't even know about, that you have no understanding about. And this is how we become Nasik, bound within this thing
Yes,
and
Eitai.
vertically integrated, from an energetic standpoint. So this is how
Yeah.
this works. This is self-evident. This is self-evident. We all were under the influence of this. All of us.
Yeah, you're right, Eitai. The word was perpendicular, straight up,
That's right.
So, right. I had it in my notes somewhere, but it got away from me.
You'll probably get to it, Nasi.
Yeah, so, but this is where we are, family, and it was all about business, and it has been about business. And the dream, it wasn't no dream like that, you know. The dream was how to formulate a plan to what? Through business negotiation, how to what? Make money. That's all it was all about.
Right.
Okay.
Now, let me read to you to show you this. Now, vertical hierarchical structure, top down, we see. So as we continue to look at this Adamic creed, so the Adamic creed has become the fundamental starting point or beginning of the first man created by Yah, God of creation, that all of humanity are to believe in as the origin of us all. We must research and investigate to see if this is true or is it a fabrication. So, as we meditate and ponder the concept of the creative process from our ancestral divinity, we see something quite different here. Thus, beginning in the first chapter with the creation of the figure called Adam, this figure became the formula that has been used for their example of how disobedience became a sin and relationship with the creator of all life being lost. So now, through sin, everybody has lost their relationship. And it's what the scripture says, all men have sinned and fell short of the what? Glory of God, right?
Right.
Okay.
So we look at this from the idea found in the narrative of Genesis 1 and 27. The phrase God created man in his own image. Male and female created them. Genesis 5 and 2. The phrase God created he, male and female, created he them and blessed them and called their name Adam. Now here we find Adam in the day when they were created. Now, this term Adam, this is the part here that I really want us to pay close, evaluation to. Now, the term Adam. If you got a pen and you're taking notes, I want you to write it down just like I give it to you. Okay. Now, we know Adam, became the fundamental, image that was supposed to be the representative of God. And in his fall, all sin came into the world.
That's right.
This is how they played, okay? Now, let's follow him now. When we delve even further to look at the prefix, composition, and suffix of the word Adamic, okay, AD and IC. Now, keep that AD prefix, IC suffix, and in the center you got am. Listen closely now. Begin with AD, and AD is perceived as a noun, okay? And this was 1841. Now, the original meaning of the word AD, listen to me, was advertisement. Advertising. That's an ad. You take out an ad, right? So you can kind of ad was used as an ad. You got to follow now. Then in 1947, because you see, you got to follow these dates. 1947, when did the state of Israel? 1948, right? Now, it says the word advantage. Now, all of this stuff to do with the word AD, advantage. Add or act, and then it gives you about 4 or 5 different terms here as prefixes. And then it says toward. The definition number 1 is toward. Usually AC before AD is like the suffix. Now, you know what they say after the death, AD was after the death of Christ, right?
Right.
And what? Now you see the word CA. Now, what's that supposed to be? Common error or common
CE, Nasik.
CE is common error, but what is CA? CA, they got a term for CA that has to do with the common situation too. Okay? Now follow. Okay, so here we say is, now we go back to the Latin for the word AD, ADAGIUM from ADIGUM, akin to ALO means I say. Now, this was 1548. Okay, I say. Then he said, a saying often in metaphorical form that embodies a common observation. Now, so Adam became, quote unquote, family, a common observation from which all things in this physical plane was utilized to observe, okay, through Adam, okay? So the word Adamic and the suffix IC as a noun, 1947, immediate constituents, okay? Now, immediate constituent, that's what I see. A noun in 1966, integrated circuit. And it goes on through, and I'm coming to the point, having the character or form of being. Okay. Now, Adam became the character and the form that everybody was what? He had supposed to have his character and his form. He was the form that represented the creator. And Abba Ben-Ami said it in IOL on page 32. He said Adam became the form of the creator. Now follow me now. Continuing on. It says here, number 3. It says, definition number 3, in the manner of, lack thereof, characteristic of, associated or dealing with, one having the character or nature of, one belonging to or associated with, one exhibiting or affected by, one that produces. Now, all this has to do with Adam now. Keep in mind. Now, from that, we come to the key term here. The word Adam is not a literal physical person or civilization of any people, but is an allegorical narrative of an age, A-G-E, A-G-E, epoch, and cycle of time depicting the human experience in the physical plane. Okay. This is what the concept of Adam has led to the word age, A-G-E. Okay, and then there's a term you've heard people say, "Oh, that's that old adage."
Right.
Adage.
Right.
It means to assume. It means to assume. Okay. This old adage. Okay, this concept of an adage. Number 1, it says age, 13th century, the part of existence from its beginning to its end, to any time, a lifetime, time of life at which some particular qualification, power, capacity arise or rest. Majority, one of the stages of life, an advantage of life. Now, all of this is connected to Adam, family. Adam is the center of all of this. He is the age, the epoch of time that began everything. Everything has to do with life and connected to, all of this was this concept of Adam. And it had nothing to do with a person or a civilization. Now, Ken, you follow me now.
Got you.
A period of time dominated by a central figure, a prominent feature, a period in history or human progress. All this is centered around Adam. Culture period marked by the prominence of a particular item, a division of geological time that is usually shorter than epoch. And it goes on. Now, the last point is saying requisite, 15th century, essential, necessary for the development of an average individual. So Adam was used as the formula or as, the figure that everything in the matrix, you understand, was used to what? Develop, what we call, and it was essential and necessary for the development of the human civilization or people that is what? No more than average. They ain't no intelligence like we perceived ourselves to be.
Right.
All of this is centered around, a developmental period of a civilization that was set in motion for one purpose, and it has what? Fulfilled it to business as usual in terms of keeping everybody under the influence of the things that were what? Called them to work for, labor for, and toil for all their life in the false mind matrix of reality. So with that, we're going to halt this portion and ask if there's any questions or comments.